So this is my little tutorial on fingerstyle strumming and fingerstyle playing guitar. Just some of the basics on focusing on the right hand, what I'm really doing with it, because I've had some questions about it. So basically, well, I guess one of the first questions is why fingerstyle picking. You get a different texture is the main thing, but also like picking with a flat pick and with your fingertips, like you can get different textures, but you also have different strengths because, for example, like just now what I was playing was, if you want to follow along, is the chord progression was just G, D F sharp, G/B, and then C2. So I started off with finger picking, and so, but I was also able to make a progression into like a little bit more like actual strumming, but it's still very gentle and it had a softer texture. And then eventually I was also able to range over into like, which is like a much fuller sound, obviously. So you can't really capture all the same kinds of feels with a flat pick, but also you can capture the same feels with a flat with fingertips as you can with a flat pick either. So they both just have their different strengths. So finger styling, basically what I'm doing, so I kind of broke it up into three main things. First I had like so just like finger picking, and then the second part, it was like pretty much, it was a combination of something with a little bit more of attack and a little bit more of my fingertip. Just kind of a little bit more gentle. It's kind of getting a little bit more full, but not quite there yet. So what I was doing there was, basically I think of the finger nails as very similar to a flat pick because it's got the same texture and such. And so you can get a lot of a similar sound, not the exact same sound, but you can get a similar sound if you're doing it right. One of the main things that gets the sound out of a flat pick is, like, to get a good sound out of it, you need a consistent and an even strum to make it sound good and gentle and full, right? It's not just wailing away or anything, and it's not like, there's a lot of good technique that goes into a good sounding strum. It's something nice and even. And so I try to do the same thing with my fingertips. So I try to keep the angle consistent and even, and the pressure even across the strings. Right? So it sounds like this. Right? If that's what it looks like on the side, right? The pick is a pretty even angle on the down and the up, and it's consistent. I do the same thing. So it kind of looks like I'm really extending my fingers out on the down strum and then flicking my thumb up. And I'm sort of doing that, but not really, because if I slowed it down, and if you see it from the side, my middle finger actually stays pretty curved throughout most of it. So it's just kind of like that, and it's pretty even. And I'm just kind of, for me anyway, what's comfortable, I don't know about other players, but I use kind of this little portion of my fingernail, and it's just kind of, it's a little bit angled, it's more on this side, and I just try to capture a similar angle going all the way across, and then same with my thumb, it's coming up, and normally by the time I've finished extending it, or the time I start extending, I've already finished going across the 6 strings anyway. So I don't actually always fully extend, but even if I do get really into it and I'm fully extending, normally it's actually my forearm bringing my fingers across the strings, and then by the end of that strum I've extended. So it's not just flicking away at random, right? Because that'll change, it'll give every single string a different kind of angle from the fingertip, right? From the fingernail. I want it even, but if I'm just doing this, right, all the strings get like this, the top string gets this angle, and then it's just a different angle for each string, right? So the main thing that I'm doing is I'm just kind of moving. If you do it slowly and gently, and then eventually the more you play, the more comfortable you'll get at it, and it'll be more even and consistent. But just do it nice and slow. Without moving your finger too much, alright? So, right? So it's the same kind of concept that you use with a flat pick, right? So that's how I get the same attack with the fingernails as I would with a flat pick. It's not exactly the same, but it's pretty close, and if you play really quickly, you can't always tell the difference that easily. Okay, maybe you can, but it's a big difference compared to this. Right? So, as I said before, I kind of broke it up into 3 parts where it was like finger picking, and then I did a little bit of strumming, and I was actually kind of doing a little bit of a mix between attack from my fingernail, but then also using a little bit of the fleshy side of my finger here. And so, like I said, I kind of use this little portion, this little corner of my fingernail going down, and I use pretty much the same area on the strum up, like that. I do that for 2 reasons. Sometimes, first of all, it's just a little bit more quiet, a little bit more gentle. It doesn't have too much attack, so it leaves space for some more dynamics for later on when I'm going all out with my thumb going on the up strum and then back down with the middle finger, right? It has a lot more attack as opposed to, it doesn't have nearly as much attack to it, right? So that's one of the reasons. Secondly, sometimes I just get lazy. Thirdly, sometimes just the technique doesn't allow me to actually use my thumb, and I'll talk about that in another video about a technique where I can't actually always just use my thumb on the up strum, so I'll just have to settle with using my middle finger, the fleshy side, on the up strum. In any case, yeah, so that's kind of the technique in a nutshell. So just keep practicing it. I like sometimes going just from finger style, picking. Do a little bit of strumming. To a little bit more attack. And then I can start taking that and just increasing. So that's pretty much finger style strumming 101 for you. Hope that was helpful. Enjoy. Have fun.